Welcome back, everybody. Dan here for another video. Thanks so much for joining in with me, and thanks so much for waiting around so long for another video. I've been away because I've been enjoying playing games, and I kind of slipped away from making videos because I've just been playing games so much. I've been enjoying racing and driving and truck sims and stuff like that. But it was about time that I slid on back, started making some more videos. So we've got some more videos coming. And as you guys can see here, we are actually currently playing Forza Horizon 4. And I've been wanting to make a video talking about this game. I wanted to talk about my initial thoughts, what I thought about the game, because I know probably a lot of you may be wondering. If you look far enough back on my videos, you will see that my YouTube channel started on Forza games. I believe it's probably Forza 3. And Forza 3, Forza 4, those were the last, and I'm talking about motorsports, by the way, those were the last times I can vividly remember having a good, fun time playing a Forza title, right? Now, that's not to say I have picked them all up. I picked up Forza 5, Forza 6, Forza 7, Horizon 1, Horizon 2, but I never got the same feeling, the same fun factor and excitement as I did the day I loaded up Forza Motorsports 3 disc into my Xbox 360, I guess it was then. And then, you know, started playing that game, and there was a certain excitement, a certain memory that I remember having so much joy playing that game for hours and hours and hours on end. And unfortunately for me anyways, the Forza series have kind of gone downhill since then. And, you know, yeah, they've got better graphics. Yes, they've added in more cars, but there was something just missing. They got pretty close to it on Horizon 1, but it was still missing the mark. And then, being that I had pretty much 100% made the transition from console gaming over to PC, one of my very, you know, a huge importance for me was it was compatible, and more importantly, not just compatible, but worked well on the PC. And the last couple of titles just had a lot of issues. They were laggy, buggy. Even if you had a good system, the menus glitched and frames dropped, and there were a lot of things that kept me from enjoying the last few Forza games. That's Forza Motorsports and Forza Horizon. But I am so happy to say that this game has been an absolute blast. They have gotten they've worked out all the bugs. The performance problems are not there anymore. This thing runs smoother here than it does on my Xbox out in my living room. So we're going to hop in, and I'm just going to kind of give you just more details on my thoughts on the game, and it kind of lets you know why I do think you should probably try it out, even if you're what we consider a hardcore simulation driver. So what we're going to do is we're going to go look through my cars here. I just used this to do a race. It is wintertime. I am going to find something that will work a little more better for winter, but something a little more fun than that truck. So we're going to hop in this, and we would like to have it delivered. One of the things that's very cool about this game is it's very easy to access and get into a new car. You know, as long as you own it or whatever, you can just literally hit escape, go into the menu, pick the car you want. It'll drop it off right where you are. There's not a lot of jumping around like on previous titles. So basically, let's look at the map really quick, and let's find a race to do. And I'll talk to you guys about it while we're on the way to the race. So we're not too far from that one. Let's head on over there, and we will join that race.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
All right, here we go. Let me make sure. Let me just get a check on my volume real quick. Okay. I just don't want it to be too loud where I can't hear myself talk. So, like I said, obviously it is winter time. You guys can see that. I believe I'm on street tires on this car, so it is all-wheel drive, but it's going to be a little bit loose. That makes it fun. But where I am currently in the game, basically I wanted to wait to make a video on this game until I had quite a bit of seat time in the game itself. Far too many people place judgment on a game, whether it's a sim racing game or a arcade game, which is what I would consider this. It doesn't matter what you consider it, just far too many people, especially the media, meaning YouTube guys and gals and things like that, they're like in this race to be the first person to get their video out to talk about a game that they're not really playing the game that much to really get a hold or a feel of what the damn game is even about before they're making speculations and review videos on like 2% of a game. And that drives me crazy. I try not to do that, so I'm never the first person to make a review on a game. Typically, when I give my thoughts on a game, it's been, you know, out for a long time. I've had a lot of time to play on it, but even though I might not get the most views because of that, I feel like it's a more genuine review because I'm actually talking about something I know about rather than just trying to rush something out. And I think I'm finally to the point on this game where I've had enough to give you an initial impressions, and probably somewhere down the road I will give you a full review, but for now we're just going to talk about let me hit the right button here, my initial impressions. And like I said, my initial impressions of this game is that it's the best that Turn 10 and Playground has released. Playground Games has released in, to me, ever. As far as at least being on a I did not mean to do that. Hold on, I do not want to go multiplayer, but I guess I will. Alright, hold on, I didn't mean to do that, guys. I meant to hit solo just so we can get going and not have to wait for people. But yeah, so this game is really, really cool. One of the things that I did not have trouble with, that I have heard other people say they're having trouble with, is controller compatibility. Now, I cannot talk about anybody's experience except for my own. And I want to kind of give you a little bit of detail on what my experience has been for controllers. And it was absolutely perfect. I literally downloaded the game, started it up with my USB controllers plugged in, and it found everything. Now, I do want to mention, I have all of my controls set up separately as separate inputs through their own USB. That's pedals, wheel, shifter, keyboard, everything. Controller. I have an Xbox controller that I can use at the same time. It's all separately plugged into the computer through various USBs. Even still, it found everything. And I didn't have to do anything. Now, I've heard some people saying that they're having issues if they've got mixed and matched components. In other words, I'll give an example. Billy Strange is pretty upset because he can't get his, as I go through the fence here, he cannot get his Fanatic pedals. Well, he just can't get the setup in general to work because he's using a set of Fanatic pedals with a Thrustmaster wheelbase. And that is really unfortunate because I know it gives him like a negative feeling towards the game, but it's actually a really good game, and I hope they get that resolved so he can get in here and play it and really, you know, kind of see why I'm saying it's so much fun. But again, I can only speak on what he told me about that, and then for my personal experience, I literally had no issues. It was literally the most plug-and-play Forza game I have ever played. And I'll go even further than that. Forza Motorsport 6 on the Xbox was harder for me to get my wheel to work than Forza Horizon 4 was on the PC. So that tells you how far they've come and how much more compatible they are with wheels and things like that. It's just a lot better. So the controller setup for me, my experience was great. I did have to fiddle with the force feedback a little bit because, you know, you can't expect a game like this to have force feedback of an iRacing or an Assetto Corsa or a Race Room. It just doesn't have that fidelity. You can't expect it to have that fidelity, so it's just not going to be there. And that's just the type of game it is. This is a I'm not going to name it anything, but it's somewhere in between a simulation or a full-on simulation and an arcade. You know, it's in the middle somewhere. I'm not going to title it. People always have a problem when I title it. But, you know, it's definitely not an Assetto Corsa. It's not an iRacing. But I wouldn't say it's down there with, you know, some other games that people typically call arcades, which I'm not going to get in that debate for this video. I just wanted to talk about how much I like this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change, it's kind of perfect time, I'm going to change the view here, and I'm just going to drive around because what I want to show you now, because I've talked about controller setting, for me it was plug and play. Now I just want to kind of talk about graphically how absolutely stunning and beautiful this environment is. Just look out, look at those mountains. I mean, and look at the snow. Of course, every time the season changes, which is once a week, I believe, you know, the world looks completely different. They have all 4 seasons. I know any of you have seen any videos on this game, you already know that's the case. But I want to emphasize just absolutely how beautiful the landscape looks. I also want to take a second to talk about how much detail they've put into the deformation of the ground. So I just did some donuts there, and hopefully I can get an angle where you can see that. It did not just put a texture on the snow. It physically deforms the snow where you drive through. There you can see it pretty good. So it's physically has physical deformation of the ground, like a spin tires or something like that. That's not just the snow. That's in sand when you're on the beach. That's in the mud when it's the fall season and the spring season. And it's just absolutely awesome. I want to see if I can find some animals here. Because what you will find, and I may or may not be able to find some, but what you will find is that the animals running around the ground also have that same effect. So that attention to detail is absolutely amazing. I mean, the animals literally, their footsteps change the way the ground looks. That's a tiny, tiny little detail, but man, when you add that in to a game, it makes the world feel more real. Another example is far off in the distance, you can see there's some hot air balloons. There's all kind of lively events and things taking place all over the place, and and just visually this game is stunning. I would say it is probably one of the best looking games that I've ever played. That's console, PC, you know, any game on any kind of hardware. This is the best. And again, guys, remember, I'm not even running at 4K. This is 1080p only. But you know, just look to the left of the car. Look at the detail. Excuse me. Look at the detail in the ice. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. The car models don't look like they've changed much from the last couple of games, but the visual scenery is just, I can't get over it. It's so stunning. And when you combine the stunning scenery, as I drive over towards this player here, this is a real person that I'm going to go mess with as I'm talking to you guys. When you combine this stunning scenery with just butter smooth gameplay and high performing frames per second with a moderate system, you don't even have to have a crazy expensive system. I mean, I'm still running a GTX 980 Ti, which is now 2 generations old, and you can see this thing is still running wonderfully, just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's awesome. I'll talk for a moment about the races, because I've done a ton of races. You know, a lot of the events are similar, but when you actually do the event, it seems completely different because they take place in a completely different location. The roads are different, the routes are different, some are long. You know, it's the typical Forza stuff, but I think they did a really good job this time of not making it feel repetitive. And that's an important thing. When you're in a big open world like this, it sometimes can feel repetitive. And they did a good job of not making it feel repetitive. I want to talk really quick on money. It is incredibly easy to get money in this game. I just want to show you really quick. I've been playing for a while, but not that long. But, you know, a relatively decent time. But, you know, the game hasn't even been out that long. I've already got 2 million, over 2 million credits. You can see at the top right. The other thing is the game just, I think I've bought maybe 2 or 3 cars. And the rest of these, the game just gives you. Like most of these cars I'm scrolling through, the game gave me. They just gave it to me, right? So it's a look at that. It just keeps going. There's a tremendous amount of cars that it gives you. So there's no shortage. There's no boredom here. I mean, you can drive anything and really never have to buy a car, which is cool. That leaves your money for customizing things. And that's really cool. And then all the customization I'll show you really quick is all going to be under, let's see here. Is it a marketplace? Let's see here. I want to go, trying to remember. Here we go. Yeah, you have to go that. And then I think you have to go to, how do you get to the daggone? Am I forgetting how you get to, bear with me guys. I'm trying to get to the festival. World map. Change car. I thought you could just fast travel to the festival. Okay, you may not be able to fast travel to the festival. I could have swore you could. Yes, there we go. Go to okay, dummy. Go to the cars tab and then go to festival. I just want to show you that really quick. You can always fast travel to the festival. The festival's all by itself. One thing I want to talk about while we're fast traveling to the festival is that the festival, there's only one site. And the game doesn't feel so around that festival. The problem that I've had with the previous Horizon games is that it's like so emphasized on these festivals and the music. I've always felt like the cars were kind of forgotten. And in this version, that's not the case. You know, the festival's kind of put on the back burner, and then the cars are kind of the front runner here. Now, and that just makes it more fun. But anyways, you come to the auto show, and at the festival, there's an auto show garage and an auction house. There's no driving to it anymore. You can, but it's just a lot more convenient just to go through the menu system and jump right to either the garage. To do the customizing, it's the same way as you guys have always seen. That hasn't changed. And then upgrades and tuning looks identical as what it did before. And if you've played any Forza game, this should come pretty natural to you. The tuning and upgrade system hasn't changed. Just like how you buy cars is pretty similar also. And there's no shortage of cars. So I'm just kind of winging it here. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. But like I said, graphics, visually stunning, just stunning, absolutely amazing. I can't say enough. You have to play it yourself. A recorded copy of the game just doesn't do it justice. But it looks absolutely brilliant. There's no shortage of cars. You have plenty of money. In a game where you're collecting cars and upgrading cars, they shouldn't make it difficult for you to make money, and thankfully here they do not. If you just simply play the races that they request, you make money very quickly, and then you have these like these spinning games, I forget what they're called, and you win cars and you win money. And so I think this is a success finally. Historically, I've been very negative about the last few Forzas. I just have not been happy with them, but I am very pleased to say here, guys, that this is way different. I highly, highly, highly recommend if you're a PC racer and you want some kind of game to just step away from the hardcore stuff, this is probably the game you're going to want to pick up. I mean, there's just hours and hours and days worth of things you can do here and never do the same thing. And this is a game not necessarily for a sim racing enthusiast. This is just a game for a car enthusiast. You know what I mean? This is going to be for someone who just loves cars, collecting cars, looking at cars, driving anything you can get your hands on. And that just reminded me, let's hop back out in the car one more time. I just want to show you something that is very cool. This is the last thing I think I'm going to talk about, and then we'll end the video. But they have, this is the traditional Forza view, right, guys? This is the one that you're used to. Whoopsie, sorry. This is the view that you're used to. It's kind of sitting back too far, in my opinion. A lot of, this is like an arcade view is what I call it. The cool thing is they have given us on every single car a no-wheel camera with a better seating position and a much better field of view. And on top of that, finally, I think this is the first time that I know of at least, they have allowed us to adjust our field of view. So if this view is good for you, but you still think the field of view is off, you can go into the menus and you can adjust the field of view forward and back. And I think the only thing left that they could give us, which I would like that for them to do maybe next time or in an update, is give us an option where we can raise and lower the seat position. Because in some cars, this is a perfect view. Like, this works okay for this one, but I would love to be able to raise the seat up a little bit. I feel like I'm sitting too low in this car. But then, like I said, some cars, it's perfect. So if they would just add in a seat position to go up and down, that would pretty much finish off what I would say is a perfect setting for what I'm going to say is not quite a sim, but it's close enough to let you do what you want to do. And overall, I guess, hopefully you guys are getting the point here that this is just a pretty freaking fantastic game. It's a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people have been having trouble getting their it's not just Billy Strange that I heard it from. I've heard a lot of people say they had trouble getting their wheels and pedals to work and stuff like that. And I think it's something to do with the custom setups. If you pick something the game has to offer right off the bat, it will work. But hopefully they'll get all that resolved. Like I said, I haven't had that issue, so I can't really speak on it too much other than what other people have told me. But for me personally, with the Thrustmaster TSPC Racer, the T3PA Pro pedals, and the TH8A shifter, and a keyboard, and some other things, an Xbox 360 controller and stuff. With all that stuff, I've had no issues at all playing the game. And I've had a lot of fun, and I've honestly spent a lot of time playing this game. So that's going to be it, guys. That's kind of my initial thoughts. Hopefully I gave you an idea and didn't go too far off of what I was trying to say, but you get the point. Great game. Highly recommend it. I'm going to do a lot of playthrough videos of this game because I'm enjoying it so much. They probably won't be as long and drawn out as this one, but I just wanted to get the point across that this is an absolutely brilliant game. So props to Turn 10, props to Playground Games. They've finally, after all these years, given a game to somebody like me that prefers more of the sim stuff that I can actually enjoy and have fun playing, because this is a great game. So I'm going to end it on here, guys. Thanks so much for joining in with me. If you play this game on Xbox or the PC and would like to play multiplayer with me, I would be glad to do that. Let me know in the comments below. Just let me know what your gamer tag is and I can add you as a friend. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching the video, and as always, I appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.